Welcome to Spearo Diaries podcast with Laura and Elise, two Kiwi mermaids talking about spearfishing and ocean adventures. Well, the Nationals 2025 Rakiura, Stewart Island. This episode has been in construction for a few weeks now. It does feel like a long time ago that we were eagerly awaiting exploring the new terrain, new species, the 2025 New Zealand Spearfishing event being held in 2024.
We have a wee compilation of audio, including when we first arrived at Rakiura, before we went, throughout the competition, before and after certain days, and also little tidbits of interviewing certain people who were helping organise, keep us safe or competing in the event. We just wanted to say a massive thank you to Annie and Dwayne and everyone from the Spearfishing New Zealand organisation for organising, coordinating and responding to all the different parts of what was a really incredible competition and just general great trip for everyone who was involved. It was a whole week down south with some absolute legends, and particularly the Thule house crew that we stayed with in our accommodation. You boys are magic, and it'll be something that we do not forget for a very long time. But listen in and you'll hear all the little stages of our time in Stewart Island.
My favourite part of the Thule house crew was me not watching, everyone else watching Master and Commander about 16 times. So we will get into the interview.
Right, the build-up to Nationals. We're currently sitting at Elise's house in the Waitakere Ranges of Auckland, New Zealand. We're having a little bit of a yarn about all the different things that we need to get prepared before we head down to Nationals. I am not the most organised individual, so I've come to get a bit of Elise's advice on gear and travelling with gear, and we're actually heading down at different times down south. I'm going a little bit earlier because I'm a muppet and I booked tickets at the wrong time, so I'm just going with it, and I'm going to go down to Bluff and Invercargill and have a little bit of an explore and stay with the Herberts before other people come down. And yes, me and Elise, well, she's right here with me, but Elise, we are not feeling our best selves. We've both been sick and run down.
A little bit under the weather, a little bit feeling the feelings. I've had little sick kids, and I've been trying to keep away from all the colds, but the cold's trying to catch me. Laura, you've had COVID.
Yeah, that's been good. A healing from my ruptured eardrum, and then I got COVID, but I'm feeling on the up, and we have both been resting. I don't feel super fit, but I feel like maybe I will be okay by the time we get down there, and I'll be able to dive, hopefully. Surely.
What can we do but go down and try our best? You've just got to know that you have done the training, you have put in the hard work this year with many pool sessions. So I think you just trust it. You're going to be fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was cleared yesterday. Before yesterday, I was very nervous that Elise was going to have to find another partner for the opens. Oh. But as of yesterday, the doctor and the ENT guy, ENT, is that the ear person, said that I can try and dive. I just need to be really careful. So I'm just stoked to still be going, to be honest, and see some new species. But yes, I have come for Elise's advice because she's gone on an Aussie trip and travelled with her guns and fins and all that jazz, and I don't know what I'm doing. So shout out to Blair Herbert for lending me his gun box for travelling with. And Sports tube, not gun box. See, I don't even know what it's called.
Sports tube for fishing equipment, because you're definitely not going to write gun or spear gun down on anything that is going down to the South Island or on an aeroplane, are you? No.
Yeah, everyone keeps giving me a stick about why I'm not going on a warm tropical trip, and one of my first big spearfishing trips is going somewhere cold down south. We're all having to buy like thicker wetsuits and just all the rigmarole of booking flights and ferries and accommodation and figuring out how to get everywhere has been a lot for the last few days, but I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm pumped. What are you most excited about? I'll tell you. I'm most excited about seeing different species. I would really like to get a trumpeter. That's probably my goldfish is a trumpeter.
And actually, the fish toss is probably worth discussing a little bit. I've been trying to do a little bit of research the last few weeks because I've never seen trumpeter before. We've both shot blue moki before, but there's like a few different fish that I've never heard of, never seen, that come up on the list. So I get a lot of comments from people. I'm sure lots of people listening already know about comps, but if you don't, just a little bit of background info. So often people go, "Oh, this is the person who gets the biggest fish win," and then you're like, "Oh." Actually, there's a whole lot of different fish that you've probably never seen pictures on Instagram of that you can go and find.
What's a telescope fish look like? Hopefully we get to find out, It's going to be good. I'm very excited.
But yeah, no, it'll be cool. And we're staying in a house with a bunch of, a few different ways. We've met them through different clubs, through diving and stuff. So it'll be us and all the boys, as usual, in a nice big house overlooking a sweet view in a different part of... Well, there's really only one part that you can drive around in Oban and Stewart Island, apparently. So we'll get down there and have a little car and then have a few days to scout and hopefully have some fun dives and have a bit of a look around, and then it'll be into the actual competition side of it, which we will both be competing against each other technically in the women's, where we've probably explained this before as well if you've heard some of our episodes before, but for the women's you compete as an individual athlete with a safety diver, which is called a sweever, and then the other event we will be doing together.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's going to be really cool, and it's going to be nice to dive with you again because it's been a little while. So, pumped.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't had some comp diving for a while, and that'll be 2 days worth of the opens. We will compete against the men and whoever else is down there.
And all the scouting time beforehand, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right. Yeah, but that's I guess that's tuned. Yeah. Stay tuned for when we're actually down there doing something exciting.
Exciting. So we finally made it to Stewart Island. We're so stoked. When we first got off the ferry, the visibility was looking incredible. The actual ride over, the captain said, "You're all very lucky because it's a very calm trip today." And then we proceeded to jump into like massive swells. And I thought, my God, what is a not calm crossing like? So yeah, that was pretty full on. So this morning we flew down, me and Adam, and then we met up with Laura and Annie in Bluff. Annie was so sweet, and she took us down to the signs where you get to see all the different like countries that you could go to. For everyone not in New Zealand, there's a sign at the bottom of New Zealand and there's a sign at the top of New Zealand. It's like a very touristy thing to do. But I loved being a tourist. Did you love being a tourist, Laura?
It was glorious. She also took us up for a nice view of the whole, 360 view that you can see of above Bluff, and you can see into the harbour, you can see out to Stewart Island, and we just happened to have it on a really mint day too, because we were a day or two earlier than the rest of the competitors. So I got sunburnt on my day in Bluff going on a walk, and I was like, what the? Everyone told me it was going to be freezing down here. So yeah, really cool to see a new part of New Zealand and be shown around by the locals. Yeah,
and Laura's had a couple of days here already. She was sending me messages of her in shorts and singlet, being like, "Don't worry about packing a jacket, babe, it's warm." So hopefully it stays like that. I think we've got some bad weather coming tomorrow, which is when everyone's crossing over, so I'm glad that we've come today.
And I dosed up on all the, I've had a week's regime of nausea, calm and seasick regulations to try and not get sick down here. And touch wood, I have not been sick. I wasn't sick on the ferry crossing, and I'm really pumped about that. And I did meet a very cool man at the back of the ferry where I was standing. That's terrible, I can't remember his name.
Drew?
Drew, yes. Guy at the back used to be a commercial power diver for a bazillion years, and so we had a big yarn. He's telling me all about how not only would I very unlikely see anything scary like a 7-giller or a great white, but I would probably see something cool like a seahorse. So he's given us some tips about how to find them in the weeds, which is cool. And yeah, it was just, it's a beautiful part of New Zealand to see, and we feel like we're here. This stressful part of the trip is over. That we've got our stuff here, apart from my bag busting open at the airport, but that's just a classic Laura situation. So we've got our gear here, we have got to the ferry, everything's okay.
Yes, we've made it. All we have to do is go diving for the next week and hang out with friends, and yeah, I'm just so excited. So We will touch base again after a couple days of scouting. I think we're just going to get into it.
A bit of relaxation time.
Yeah.
We've been feeling tired and sick, so we're going to chill this afternoon and tonight and maybe go for a dive with Adam tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. All right, catch you soon.
Wow, the last couple of days, apologies, we sound very tired. The last couple of days have just flown by down here. I feel like a lot's happened in a few days, but we'll try and give a bit of coverage of the last few scouting days because we've gone out on a little bit of a recce dive, me, Elise and Adam. We've seen a few things doing that. We'll cover that soon. We've scouted the area that we're meant to be competing in for the women's. We've been with the boys, so we're staying with a group of absolute legends. We're Jamie, Adam, Ryan, Simon, Toby, well, two Simons actually, Simon and Simon, Peter, and me and Elise all staying in a house together, and we have our friend the kaka bird who has been visiting every day, which is super cool to see an awesome bird like that rocking up.
Oh my god, it's like a dinosaur, like it's like a pterodactyl, and he just has this great like screech as he flies over, or she. But I thought it'd be really cool and like try feed it something, but it just walked up and bit my finger and then kind of yelled at me, and it was so cute.
Everyone kept saying they see like kiwi here and like deer on their lawn, but we've got a kaka bird at our accommodation, which is pretty cool.
We saw a deer, the white-tailed deer. Yeah, we went on a walk to go find kiwi, and we found white-tailed deer. Apparently, one of the only populations of whitetail in New Zealand, and it was given to New Zealand by like an American president. I can't remember which one. Random facts that's just jumped back into my brain. Don't quote me.
Highlights of our first dive, and to be fair, the weather was pretty feral. All the other people were coming over on the ferry on this day, and we thought, we'll go out and we'll have a look because we're here. And Elise, I think, did you get your first blue juicy cod?
I did. We went out and we got dinner for everybody. Jumped in the water. Man, they just swim right up to you, eh? You just go down, you lay on the bottom, fluff up some sand, and by the time the dust cloud's all gone, they're all just like kind of looking at you, and you feel a bit bad about shooting them, but they were also very big and very delicious. So
look like grumpy little old men.
Yeah,
Tasty,
they do. Yeah, and we saw some really cool kelp. And as we were swimming back, Laura stops and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "What is she saying?" Thinking it was like going to be something scary, but actually it was a adorable little seahorse. And so we got to like swim around and just like have a good look at it. And honestly, you like see it from the surface and you're like, wow, that's so cool. And then you dive down and you're like, where's it gone? They're so camouflaged. It's amazing.
At one point, Elise put her hand like on the seahorse and the weed where it was, and was like pulling it back, going, "Where's it gone?" And you just see from the surface. It's pretty cool because they're actually way smaller.
I can just see it waving around on the weeds as I'm holding the stalk.
The man off the ferry's advice came true. I genuinely did what he said, which is he said, let's just slow down and look really, really closely at the brown seaweed when you see it. And it was like right there. I was like, this guy is a legend. So yeah, that was super cool. Got some photos and videos of that, and the kelp and weed is really, really different down here.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then a couple minutes after that, Adam also saw a seahorse, and yeah, we were so excited because I've never seen that before.
To be fair, it wasn't very fishy, and it was very cold, and like rained randomly in the middle, and there were boats zooming past. It was a bit of a weird experience, but
the rain just boosted through. Like it went from absolutely flat and calm to just like thundering down, and I was like, welcome to the South Island, everyone. Welcome to the lower Antarctic area.
But yeah, the next couple of days was kind of like we did a lot of like going out for a dive and then sharing the meals together. Like we had pawa, we had blue cod. I think some of the other boys got some trumpeter on different days, and it's just really nice being able to like have meals together and enjoy the fish that we got, and like talk about the different species and explore some different areas where we were told that the comps might be. So we were lucky enough that the Herberts sorted us out via Toby, who was staying with us in our house, the use of some boats to go and scout some of the areas and get out wide, obviously not just doing a shore dive.
That was so incredible. Like we are so grateful that we got to have the boats and we got to use them at our own will to go scout, and it was super lovely. Thank you so much, Dwayne and Annie.
We were hit with a mint day. One of the particular days actually that was just like, I don't know, I just remember this really well because I feel like I learnt a lot in a short period, but Peter and Simon, so we were all teed up to have Peter. your legend, if you're listening. It was my sweever, and also Simon, who was meant to be Elise's sweever. We thought, all right, we'll go out with our sweevers for the women's event and do like a day together, talking about how we're going to approach the day and like see some of the area. And scouting's kind of, I had to get Elise to explain this to me from her time in the New Zealand team, but the scouting being that you definitely don't shoot fish in any areas where the comp might be held. You're just going and like, looking to see the terrain and see if there's any fish around. And that's pretty much, have I got that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. You shoot the fish now, they won't be there on the next day when you need them, or the next couple of days. So,
yeah. So for me, it was like, just trying to understand like where those different species might be, and think about like approaches to where would I swim, where would I go, and just get kind of used to like the different weed and different coldness of the water, and it's just really different to diving up north in the north of New Zealand. So
yeah. And then after having our little scouty scout, we were feeling a little hungry, so we nipped down to another corner where there was a little bit of current running, and we got some really good fish. I got the biggest butterfish I've probably ever seen. Like, as I was pulling it up, I don't know if you guys ever seen that reel, and it's like, damn, boy, it's a thick-ass boy. That's what I was thinking as I pulled the butterfish
Genuinely looks humongous. Yeah. We'll put a picture of it like to go with this episode.
It was stupid big. But, yeah, it was really cool, and then we found a little patch of paua. So we collected all of that.
And we saw an octopus. We've got footage of that too. Peter picked up this octopus while we were looking for paua, and I've never really seen an octopus like properly up close with all its tentacles zooming about the place, and it's a buzzy creature. Peter did get his knife ready. He was hungry for it, and Elise got all weird and said, "No, my octopus, my pizza. My octopus, my pizza.
My octopus pizza.
My octopus teacher movie, which I still haven't seen."
No, it's not even about the octopus teacher. That's just like a fun thing to say, but like I just think they're quite sentient beings, and I don't know, I just feel a bit bad taking them. But
do you think they're alien dinosaur creatures? Yeah,
absolutely, aliens crashing the earth, and that's octopus. Now we eat them, and one day they'll come back for us. So, but actually, like, I mean, if I got served it, I'd eat it, but like I just feel bad taking it myself.
Yeah, and then today we were talking about like kind of like how much rest do you have? You got to look after your hydration and your ears and stuff. Like, we've both been feeling pretty run down. A few people in the house have been feeling pretty sick.
Oh yes.
And it was pretty average weather, like real windy. But we were like, we're in Stewart Island. Like, when are we going to be down here again? So I kind of got my arm bent. Encouraged to go, and we were basically trying to go and get some power and just have a bit of an explore. At least you decided to be responsible.
I stayed home. I stayed back. I did a podcast. I edited Andy Ruddock's one and got that all good to go. The comp was actually supposed to be today, but because the weather was so bad, they've actually postponed it until tomorrow. So we're really hoping that all the scouting that we did yesterday, that tomorrow the fish are still there and it's not super like bad visibility, and that we'll actually be able to dive it. Oh, Laura.
One of the large reasons that I went for a dive today was because
what happened when we did the scouting, Laura?
I had to check that one of my wetsuits was all right today for tomorrow, because I'm wearing a different wetsuit, because the wetsuit that I was so kindly lent and told, if this falls apart, don't worry about it, it's really old, from Jackson Shields. Thank you, Jackson. So I thought, sweet, I'm not going to freeze my tits off down here. I thought I had a pretty new 5mm wetty wetsuit, and I was like, sweet, like I'm going to be all good down here. And then
it's 12 degrees centigrade, the
long
water.
Story short, I did something to the hood of my new wetsuit and was kind of offered this warmer, smooth skin 7mm. And I was like, sweet, okay, I won't get super cold. Anyway, I thought I'd better test it out and make sure it fits me. Did all the things where you make sure it's all lubed up and you hop it on carefully. And I'm on the boat, down in this little boat that we're about to take out scouting. I just heard Dwayne, I don't even know what he said to me, laughed or said something about something. And I realised...
hole in your armpit there, Laura.
I have a giant
small hole.
armpit
hole. It started
hole.
off as like a 50-cent coin size. And we thought, Laura, do you want to go change your wetsuit? No, it's back in the car. Like, you know,
it wasn't in the car. It wasn't in the car. It was at the house.
Back at the house.
And just to give some context to this, the house had one car with like 9 of us staying in it, and we respectfully appreciate
But it's like
having
the
had the
smallest
car.
car in the world. Like it's one of those tiny ones.
Try and fit 3 or 4 adults, and that's only half the people staying there, and all their spearfishing gear, and then you have to go back and forward to where you're getting on a big boat. So point being, we are there. I do not have another option for a wetsuit, and we are already in the boat, geared up to go. And we're lucky to be going. So I thought, you know what? I'm sure
It'll be
I
fine.
won't get that cold.
Yeah. Why would you? Why would you get that cold? And so towards the end of the dive, the entire jacket was like basically ripped in half. So she's basically just wearing like a cardigan.
Like arm sleeves.
Yeah, a cardigan jacket. Real cool look.
Where the water hit my skin for that dive felt like a burn.
Laura, do you have a rash right where it is? Like a cold burn?
Hold on, have a look.
It's a bit of a cold burn there.
It kind of just looks like I got slapped in the armpit with something really hard, but it's raw.
But she was
from
tough.
the cold.
She's tough.
It's my own fault, and it was rule number 1: always test your gear out before comp day, and that is what I
it would have
did.
sucked on comp day if that had happened. Like, yeah. How are you feeling about tomorrow?
Well, I had a really fun dive with your man Adam today, actually. We were kind of just enjoying being in the ocean. We were looking for power, having a little scout around in the horrible weather. I'm feeling good. My ears feel okay. And, hurrah, I've been able to go for a couple of dives with a newly healed ruptured ear hole, which, 4 weeks ago, I thought I probably wasn't about to dive. So I'm just stoked to be here. I'm happy I'm going to physically be able to dive. I don't know how I'll go in terms of depth and, how energetic I'll be because I feel super unfit. But I'm just happy to be here, and I think... realistically, after doing that scouting day yesterday with Simon, who's my sweeper, and just talking through
Peter.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, Simon and Peter were both there. Peter, talking about, we're tired, sorry about it. Talking to him about, I was just talking about what species am I going to be capable of getting with the depths I can dive and stuff, and it's actually kind of in my favour this comp because there's not going to be heaps of deep diving. Some comps there's some deep diving and that can split the people up a bit who can dive deeper, but for me luckily it's not too deep, so I should have a pretty good chance at getting
the max depth that we can dive in this area is 12 meters.
All right, because I can't go much deeper than that, and you can. But yeah, I think I want to get more fish than I got last Nationals because that was my first women's comp, and I got 3 or 4 fish last year. So my goal is to get a few more than that. Just tick off the basic species and have a good time.
Nice.
What about you?
I'm pretty nervous actually. It's not a nice feeling. I dive with you, you're my best friend, we compete together, but it feels a bit icky competing against you because this is something I really want to go for and I've been going for ages. And I know you're like, yeah, go Elise. But I'm also like, yeah, go Laura. So it's kind of mixed feelings. While I really want to go hard and win, I also want you to go hard and win. So it's a little bit concerning.
You have nothing to be afraid of,
It's a little
mate.
concerning. Yes, I do. She's a weapon.
We will be debriefing about how you absolutely slayed in about 24 hours.
You never know.
I have no doubt about it.
This is the thing. It's a comp in Stewart Island where we never know how it's going to go.
You should always be on your toes. And also one of our friends, Alicia, who we haven't seen since last Nationals, is up from
It's going to be
Nelson,
good to see her.
and she's here with her partner, and she's going to be doing the women's as well.
Yeah.
And there's also all the juniors do compete at the same time as the women tomorrow. So
my wonderful sweeper, Simon, he is actually going to do the Masters now tomorrow, which is going to be really exciting for him. You will have heard of in previous episodes. We interviewed him. So now, thankfully, Ben Smith has, I low-key begged him, and he said yes, and he came to the party.
What a guy.
Yeah, we went to the pub earlier, and all his mates were there, and they were like, Elise, Ben is at home meditating right now for you tomorrow to win this comp. And I'm sitting there drinking a beer going, no, I wasn't drinking a beer. I was not drinking a beer. I will have a beer tomorrow after the comp.
That's how much you want a beer, eh? We both haven't drunk for a few weeks. You're like,
I had a ginger beer, and I was like, I better do my best. So thank you so much, Ben Smith. You bloody legend for jumping in there last minute. Like, I just so appreciate it.
Genuinely though, like sweevers just hang out on the top. They're not allowed to shoot anything. They can't load your gun for you, depending on some of the lower age junior categories you can. But for our general category, it's like they're not allowed to talk to you about stuff and give you guidance. They're literally just there to make sure you're safe.
But it is nice to know that your sweever's not going to get cold, and that they know like what they're up to, and that they, you know, that they can take care of themselves, and they're like, you're not having to worry about whether they can keep up or anything. Because every now and again I get these little turbo legs that like to just race off at the start.
Peter will not have to worry about that with me tomorrow keeping up, but it is cool. It's a good feeling to know too that there's people you might have dived with before and known. So like I'm feeling really confident knowing like, right, Peter's seen me dive before, kind of knows my limits, and like I'll be with someone that I've met and we've trained in the pool together and all that kind of stuff. And
I don't have to feel nervous and feel like an idiot in front of like, because originally I had someone else as well lined up, but I've never dived with them, so I don't want to like feel like I have to prove myself or anything. I can just know like, yeah, we've dove together, we know each other's, you know, what we're good at, basically. So,
and honestly, shout out to anyone who is listening who's ever been a safety diver.
Yes, thank you.
Particularly for juniors and women's, because it's like there's so many men in this dominated sport, which is cool. It's all good. It's what it is, but it's really nice to know that people can go away for a weekend or a week comp and go, right, I could be resting, I could be doing my own fun diving, and then they can take that time out of their trip to actually bother to like safety dive for one of us or us, so that we can get to compete. So shout out to all you legend sweevers who have done that, because we couldn't compete in those individual categories without you.
Also because the Opens is going to be the day after, so it's like usually people have a rest day on the day before Opens. So, you know, like Ben will be diving 3 days in a row, so will Peter, and so will Simon, and
like a lot of the juniors don't do Opens, so it's usually just the women and the masters that do like numerous comp days in a row.
But just because of the way the weather worked out, we're not having a rest day. So I would rather that than trying to go out the day before, because yesterday we went down to the dock to like go and get ready for the comp. But we got the message like a couple minutes later after we got there, and I'm looking at the ocean going, there's no way we can be going out in this. This is hectic. And thankfully we got a message shortly after saying, postponed till tomorrow, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, because that would have been scary.
Yeah, I kind of got all like, did the whole like, took all the nose sprays and the seasick pills and we're worrying about what you're eating and stuff, and then you're like, oh, we're not diving a day. I've got to think about my poo routine now. You know, you got to time.
No, we had already pooped. We had already pooped.
Yeah,
but this is good. I would have preferred that then. Yeah. Anyway, so good luck tomorrow. I think you're going to do amazing. No matter what happens, I'm impressed with how hard and how far you've come, how hard you've trained, and how much effort you've put into this. So I'm proud of you.
Appreciate you and your support. And again, I'll also be stoked with however you do as well. And I just want to see a big smile on your dial at the end of the day saying that you had a bloody good time and that you're proud of yourself. So, yes, we will catch up after the Women's New Zealand Spearfishing Day.
Ew. Well, we have finished all the competitions, but we're going to go back to the women's, and then we're going to talk about the Opens, then we're going to talk about the Opens Day 1 and Day 2.
There is a bit to unpack.
Basically, there was a lot going on, and there was no way we were able to do any recording right after the women's, so I'll tell you why soon. We can start with the meeting, I reckon. No. We'll start with Laura's rundown of the day. No, we won't.
You go first.
All right. I'll start with my rundown of the day.
Tell us about your day.
Okay.
We can reveal the results at the end of the yarn if you want, but
why
don't you just say...
Let's do it. Okay, so basically...
I want to know what you were doing when I was somewhere else. I haven't really, to be honest, it's been so busy. I haven't really heard like the full-on detail of like, what, you know, how did your first day of comp go?
Right,
the area we scouted.
The women's was awesome. So we get to the dock. This is after all my daily routines, you know, making sure everything's empty and that the car's full. We loaded both me and Laura's gear into the tiny, tiny car and drove our 6 minutes over to Horseshoe Bay. we jumped on Dwayne's massive boat, Sublime, which is like a super yacht, basically. Super yacht size fishing boat. And we boosted around the corner to where we were having the Women's, which is, I think it was like Williams Bay.
Which is where we went with Simon and Peter that day, which you would have heard us talk about in another recording, that we did some scouting there.
That area, which was ideal. So in that area, when you first jump in, there's all this massive kelp, and it goes right from the bottom all the way to the top and kind of floats around on the surface. It's really, really cool. You feel like when you're swimming around in it, you feel like you're a tiny little fish in normal-sized weed, because it's just big weed. It's so cool. Anywho, I wanted to boost, so I was like, all right, Ben, we're going to just swim out real hard to this little reef that I found, and it's around the corner. Now I know that I also swam past a really big reef that we just totally missed on scouting day, so that's good to know for another time in my life. So we boosted past there, and I found a location where there were some pretty big butters. And I thought about, I know that they're going to be here today, so do I need to get them now, or do I need to keep running off into a spot where I might be able to get trumpeters on a ledge or something like that? But no, I stopped and I thought, no, you get the fish that you see in a comp. Don't ever swim past a fish. So I dropped down and just tried to take out the biggest butterfish that I possibly could. It was quite nice after boosting off that I had the place to myself for a little bit, which was good.
I did notice you zoomed past me and a bunch of the juniors hoon after you, and I thought, well, she is going for the get to the good butterfinish corner approach first.
Yeah, well, sometimes butters can, that once you kind of shoot them up a bit, they can all hide in the weed for a bit and get a little more cautious. So anyway, I shot some good sized butters there, and then I had a little blue moki spot that I knew of up further around the coast, so raced up there, managed to find a blue moki, plugged it, and then I wasn't sure, it was a big blue moki, but I felt like I could get better, so I thought, we're in a comp, everything does get eaten, so I'm going to try find a bigger blue moki. So cruised up the weed line a little bit more, and managed to plug a larger size blue moki, which was very lucky. And then I had found an area the day before where there was a red cod or a bastard cod in a little hole. And I was like, right, I know where this guy lives. I'm going to go home and see if he's home. So I dove down, couldn't see it in the hole, could just see this tiny little crayfish, and that was no good to me. So came back up, took a really good breathe up and to see if I could get right into the back of the hole. But yeah, unfortunately, nothing was there.
Just for butting in context, because we didn't cover it, no crays and no pawa are on the list.
But there is kinna.
And there's kinna, what?
Oh, do you mean on the list? Oh, yeah.
And you've also shot 2 butterfish at this point, because it's 2, right? You can get 2 butterfish. Is it
2 butters.
2 blue moki or 1 blue moki?
I think it was 1 blue moki.
So at this point, you've got 3 good fish.
Yes, 3 good fish that I knew I could score, and then I'm looking for the cod next, because I thought that in a comp because it was a pretty small area, with this many people in a small area, it's gonna probably count like the fish that not many other people are gonna see. So was looking for this guy, but as I get down to the bottom. This is when I got the blue cod. So as I got down to the bottom, I was looking in the hole for this red cod, and I look over and I'm like, oh, there's a blue cod, fantastic. So I shoot that instead, thinking I could get that one instead of the bastard, and by the time I get back up, maybe he'll come out, with seeing all the commotion. So shot that, but unfortunately the comp size is 35 centimeters and it went at 34.5, so I couldn't weigh it in.
So still legal, but
not comp legal, so that's okay. I have 3 fish. Okay, so I get back to the surface after getting this blue cod, and this boat comes over and he's like, get out of the water, there's a great white shark, go up on the rocks. And I'm like, okay, immediate thought is, I hope it wasn't Laura. She doesn't like sharks. Please don't be Laura. So we just get up on the rocks. We were sitting in about half a metre of water while we were waiting for the boat to come and collect us. And, while I was looking down, I saw that there was a couple paua. So maybe I just, collected a couple of those. We weren't sure on the rules of was that comp over or are we waiting to get picked up. So, grabbed some dinner while we were just waiting for the boat. And then came along and got picked up. And yes, we did find out that it was another woman in the comp that had seen...
tough guy, get your powers.
That had seen a great white shark. Well, we were up in a little cove where it was like... in not like half a metre of water.
Foiled my story now. You could have been like, there was an event in which
there was
I had
an event.
to stop the competition.
I never said it was you. No one said it was you yet. So anyway, we get back to the base and they say, okay, what you have got, this is after us being in the water for like, an hour and a half?
Hour 20 max.
Hour 20. Okay, we'd been in the water hour 20. So we get in the water an hour 20 and then they say, okay, what you've got is what you've got and that's what we're going to weigh in for the day. Okay, so normally the comps was going to be 4 or 5 hours, 4 hours that day. But yeah, 1 hour 20, what you've got is what you've got. And so I'm obviously feeling very nervous. I'm like, great, I have 3 fish. Oh no.
4, 5,
I could not weigh in I had 7 in total, but I could weigh in 3. Yeah.
Well, to me, seeing you have 7 fish, I was like, oh damn, she's got like heaps of fish. And then I saw Eli Herbert's float boat and he only had half his fish out that he was gutting, and I was like, nice man, like you've done really well. And then I saw that it was only half of his fish and I was like, holy crap. And he actually gave me some advice too, which he advised I go to this reef that he went to and he did really well on there, and I did not go.
We're like, well, I'll do that another day at a different nationals at the same place.
Well, honestly, I know you're all like, oh, I only weighed in this many fish, whatever, and we'll get to the results soon.
We'll do the results later, but I want to give you...
7 fish?
Yeah.
Bloody good effort in an hour and a bit, if you ask me.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. Really wish I went for that. Really wish I went for the bastard cod instead of the blue cod, but that's okay. Anyway, tell us about your day, Laura.
Yeah, I don't want to steal the thunder, but I will get into why the comp got stopped. So I went with the approach of I'm going to try and swim hard. So I have this conversation with Eli, and he's like, oh, maybe you should go to that reef. Good dude telling me. I got nervous and was like, what if this reef's like way deeper than I can dive? He's a hermit.
She never told me about this reef, by the way.
To be fair, I tried to talk to you, but you were in like, I'm in comp mode. Good luck, hun. No, you weren't, but you were focused.
I was a little focused.
And you were focused, and if I was going to be all like, hey, what's your strategy? I think you should change it up and go to some reef that Eli told me about. You would have been like, get out of my way. So anyway, Eli's telling me this as I'm about to get in.
That's true.
And I'm kind of like, oh, I don't really want to change my plan. Plus, yeah, he's a herber. He can probably dive really deep. And I thought if I get there and I can't even get down to this reef, I'm going to have wasted time. So my brain's a bit scattered. I try and keep up with all the fast swimmers. I'm not a bad swimmer, but I wasn't at the front. So what happened is I was near enough to the front of the pack that I was just going to stalk Elise and the others to the good butterfish area. Had it in my mind. I'd seen it. There's a couple of corners around. I was like, cool, that's my plan. And what did I do? I saw a big blue moki under us, and I thought, no one's going for that. I might be able to get this blue moki. It might be one of the only fish I get, but I know if I go for this blue moki, that's it. Like, I'm behind everyone and I've missed my kind of keeping up with the pack swim. So I went for the blue moki. It dropped too deep. I did not get the blue moki. Yeah, so but then I fretted out for a good probably 10 or 15 minutes that I'd made a mistake, because by then I had to be like, right, okay, I can't be up there with you guys. I now have to just dive where I am. So you know that first corner, and it had butterfish on, but it wasn't the real good butterfish corner. It had a big butterfish on. So me and some of the other juniors were kind of around there, and I just thought, right, I've just got to work this area because I've made this decision now. I didn't get a fish out of it. You guys had all blasted off and there was just a couple of us left. So I thought, all right, I'll just work the butterfish corner and I'll get the basics. And man, I had a time of it. I think I must have. And again, we did eat them all. I took these butterfish home. I shot, I think it was close to 7 butterfish. And it's the same with what you're saying about the blue cod. There's a legal butterfish size, and then there's the comp size that's a bit bigger. And I think I measured 4 or 5 of my first butterfish from this corner.
Regular butterfish size is 350, and then legal comp size was 400. So they were like really oomping it up a bit.
And I'm used to seeing like up north butterfish
Yeah.
that are like legal.
Yeah.
And I know what size they are. So I was like, sweet, that one looks bigger than the legal ones from up north.
Yeah.
And then I'd hold it against my gun and I'd just go, down my snorkel. And like, oh, it's so
Dinner
frustrating.
again.
And I feel so bad for Peter because he reckons he'd see these big like black, and I say black like they were, the younger the butterfish are, the more brown they look, and then the bigger they get, the more black they look. And he said he just saw these massive butterfish swimming like behind my head while I was looking the other way. And it's just this cat and mouse back and forth. It was so frustrating. So I get, however many bloody butterfish I've got, and I'm like, right, I know I've got 2 comp weighable butters in here, maybe 3, maybe 4, but it's just really frustrating. So I was like, got those. I was like, okay, calm down. Maybe I made a dumb mistake at the start to like drop down for this blue moki, but I'm here now. I've got to work this area. So there might have been like 1 pair near me. I think it might have been Devon Crawford. Him and his dad, I think, were near me. And then so I was like, then I see another blue moki in this area that I'd scouted, and I was like, sweet, all right, cool. There's blue moki here. It wasn't too deep. There's a lot of kelp around, and I got this blue moki, and this is when things started to get weird. So I had this blue moki. It wasn't very big. It was a bit of a dumb shot, so it was wiggling around heaps. And I remember just thinking, oh man, it's a bit of a dumb shot. It's wiggling heaps. Had my back out to open ocean, was like dealing with my fish. And we were told not to gut the fish, which in a normal comp you do gut your fish in the water usually, but we've been told that would be safer if we didn't do that. So I was like, sweet, I'm just going to shove it in my float boat. They keep my fish. And then I just got that feeling you get when something's watching you. And I was just like, put my float boat. Yeah, so I put the fish in the float boat and then kind of try to keep myself like focused on the next fish on the list, which I knew realistically for me might have been the only other fish I could get on this day would be blue cod or trumpeter. So I've been thinking about the discussions I'd had with my sweever and stuff the day or two beforehand about like how I often look towards the rocks and look for things like butterfish, but I needed to start remembering to like look out to the weed lines and look for like, say, maybe schools of trumpeter might come through. But also I'd seen a bunch of blue cod near where I'd seen this blue moki and stuff, well, some blue moki the day before. So, I'm in this area and I'm like, cool, I feel comfortable, like I've been here a couple of days ago. There was this kind of gut and all this different weed. And I remember I was like, yeah, I recognise this spot. So I was like, sweet, this is where I've seen the blue cod. I'm going to go down and I'm going to get like real lay down in the weed and like do what I think like Darren Shields and Craig Edwards and even you have like reminded me about, where you like, cover your eyes and you get like real relaxed. Because I sometimes forget to just like get down there and really like chill out and like wait for fish to come to me. I can be a bit aggro sometimes with my hunting. So anyway, I'm down there. I don't know now if it was 6 meters, 7 meters, 8 meters. It wasn't that deep. And I got right down in the kelp, and there's like we were talking about earlier, there's like all these different kinds of kelp. A long-winded version, but there's like long skinny kelp and some fat kelp. And I just, got right down, stuck my face in the weed and kind of just tried to relax myself to see if I could, wait on some blue cod. And of course, I'm bloody facing the rocks again. So as I've got my face down and I'm lying flat in the weeds, I think, I'm facing the wrong way for like seeing trumpeter. So I spun my body round and kind of like, it was quite, you know what it's like when the weed, the dark weed kind of like blocked the light. So you get these like patches of like dark shadows and stuff, and it's usually just like the big bull kelp, and it can be a bit creepy.
There's
but
big bull kelp there.
Yeah, big bull kelp, and you got your face down, so I was like, cool, there's a few like darky shadow kind of things going on, and I sort of spin myself around, and I've got my face down, and my arm, obviously my right hand, my gun sticking out in front of me, and I'm feeling pretty relaxed actually. I was like, cool, like I'm feeling relaxed, my body's all limp. I'll lift my head up real slow, and I just looked in front of me, like out towards the weed line, and I think I must have been 12, 13, I think my sweever reckon maybe we were 20 metres out from the rocks, but I just know I was on a weed line, and I just look up, and there's some sort of short, long, brown weed kind of directly in front of me, like directly in front of where my gun is, and I just look to see blue cod. I'm hoping I'm going to see some blue cod, and then I kind of just this is one of those weird things where you've got like something in front of you that you're looking at and then stuff behind it. And so I reckon it's max 3 meters away from me, but more like 2. Like, people can't see the distance I'm talking about now, but you to me away. And I just have my gun in front of me, and I just lift my head up really slowly, and I just see like this massive, thick, like wall of arse and tail of a great white. Almost, and I think I remember describing this to people when I first said I saw it, it was like almost like it had stopped. It was like going that slowly, and it was taking up like all my vision. The left-hand side of the shark's face and head were blocked by like kelp and weed, but like all I could see was like the thick tail and that like real noticeable colour. Like if I could get watercolour paints, I could like paint exactly what I saw, because it was just so different to anything I've ever seen in the water. Like that really watery grey blue, and then that real distinct like sharp pointy crescented tail.
They're very sharp edges, eh?
It was I was just like, you know that thing when you blink, and I know you're wearing a mask, but I kind of just like, I just blinked a few times, and I kind of don't remember what I did in what order. All I know is the first thought I had was, it's definitely already seen me. Like, I just went, oh, that's been like I knew what it was, and I just kind of, it's weird describing it because I feel like I haven't really processed it properly, but like, I don't know, when something's that big, it has such a presence, and I didn't feel like it wanted to hurt me or I was in danger, but obviously I was scared. But as we will get into later, I was a lot more scared after. But at the time, I remember just thinking...
to be scared at that point, eh?
At the time, I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, that's massive. And also, oh, I do not want to just like smash up to the surface. But I was kind of coming to the end of my breath hold at that point because I've been relaxing in the weeds. And yeah, I had my gun out in front of me, and it wouldn't have been any further away than another gun length. It was that close. And it just slowly drifted to the left of me and like out of sight. And I kind of just came up on a weird angle. But my sweever Peter reckons he just looked down and just saw like the tail and the sort of big shape of that. But my whole body just stiffened, like stiff, which... I reckon I went up all chill on an angle and tried to be graceful and calm, but I must have, jerked and kind of come up. So
Nope.
up I went with my little hand on my head with my shark signal, which I had not discussed with him. But and yeah, from there, like, I cannot credit Peter enough. Like, other than you, I wouldn't want to be in that situation with anyone other than Peter. Like, I reckon I'd have been so much more panicked if I had been with someone I didn't know. He just grabbed my hand, kept his face on the water, put his gun out, and we just kind of slowly, like, we both moved real, like, just this weird unspoken calm, kind of like slow fins, and just made our way back to the rocks where we were. And it felt like it went really quick for me, but he reckons we were actually pretty far out. So yeah, and from there, as you know, because that's what you got told, we got onto the rocks. The instructions we'd been given in the morning were, if anyone saw a great white, we needed to tell the boats that were going around. So we did the old stick the gun in the air. Poor Peter was kind of like half up the rock, half in the water. People next to us were like, oh, shark, what, a 7-giller? And we were like, no, a great white. It was like some people got out real quick. Other people just kind of looked a bit chill about it and maybe didn't know what kind of shark it was. But yeah, and from there, all the weirdness rolled out of, all the boats having to pick us up. And like you said, everyone getting kind of like sprinkled the message along like Chinese whispers, I guess, to get out. And then we all got picked up and got told, hey, however many fish you've shot, that's the comp. So feel pretty awkward about it, to be honest.
I was a lot further away from Laura. That's why I was still looking for power. If it was near you, I would have been out of that water.
I think some of the people too got told or heard shark.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what kind, they didn't know what had happened, and they just got out. And, we all just dealt with it the way that we best could. And I mean, I feel a little bit awkward about it because blatantly, like, there was a number of people that since have come and asked me like what I saw and how far away it was, and other people were blatantly like,
she saw a 7-giller
or a sea lion.
That's like, get over yourself, man.
So for those people who are wondering about the girl in the competition who saw a great white, screw you if you think I saw a sea lion. I know what I saw. Honestly, you can't mistake that.
Plus, you've seen one in the water before, so you know what you're looking at.
We've seen a juvenile, and it was a very different experience, and I probably should be grateful.
She says juvenile, but the one we saw was like 3 meters, maybe a little bit more. It's just that the one Laura saw was really fucking big.
Yeah, I don't know how to calculate all that kind of stuff. I just know it was no more than 3 meters away from me, and I saw the biggest, fattest, thick tail arse end of a great white, and I'm guessing if she wanted to fuck me up, she would have.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I swiveled around, I had my head down, if I was feeling calm. I don't know if she was watching me get my blue moki.
Yeah.
But maybe one day I'll be really grateful for the experience, because I know a lot of people would love to see one, but my soul left my body and it still has not returned. And yeah, I didn't have a GoPro on, because the amount of times people have asked me that, and I don't know how big it was, but that's what happened.
The thing is, if Laura, they had to stop the competition then, because if Laura hadn't said anything, or if they were like, okay, there's a white in the area, compete if you want to, if that had come along and bit somebody else, like one of the juniors or one of the women, just legally it would have been a horrible thing, and also just in life it would have been a horrible thing to have that on your conscience. So it's just a competition at the end of the day. We're not needing to prove anything.
Yeah, and I wasn't about being tough. I do feel awkward, that's ended the comp day for other people. Maybe people think, people should just carry on. But given the recent events that someone's lost their life in the Chathams, I think people were a little more cautious of the fact that what we are doing is risky. We are spearfishing, killing fish in an area that's well known to have great whites. And yes, and I've admitted this to a number of people, I chose to go to a competition where Stewart Island is known for great whites. So we all chose to get in the water knowing that.
Yeah.
And for me, no, I don't think I would have got in on the same day in the same spot after seeing that. But now, after seeing 2 great whites and it not hurting me, I've definitely changed my mindset around how dangerous they are or aren't. But they're an apex predator.
Yeah.
And we're a number of people shooting up fish in one area. So, yeah, it kind of sucks to be that girl. But at the same time, I had a few people saying that, all I could do is pass it on, because, people have got their kids in there, there's juniors in there, there's people with families, and, you don't want to, like you said, you just don't want something happening to someone and having that on your conscience that you didn't get out and say, this is what I saw. So, yes, me and Peter bonded for life over scrambling up the rocks. And as you said, you're like, no, I hope it's not Laura. I think my fear of sharks has been getting better. But good. This has not helped overcoming fear. Maybe it has helped, I don't know. But I don't even know what day we're up to now. We've had 2 days competing since, and we'll get into that soon. But anyway, keeping on to the women's, that's why you didn't have to swim for 4 hours. You're welcome. And that's why they made the decision to just say that everyone's fish that they got up into that, say, hour and a half in the water was what counted. And back we went with our floaty boaties, and you can go from there and say what the results were for the women's.
Well, Alicia, she came 3rd place. She was an absolute weapon, and we love her very much. The beautiful Laura came 2nd place in New Zealand. Woo! And then, I came 1st, so I was really excited about that. But the thing is, when we got our fish out, and we were
Lisa's sweating. She was sweating.
I was so nervous because I had 2 butterfish and I had 1 blue moki to weigh in, and Laura had 2 butterfish and 1 blue moki to weigh in.
To be real, at this point, I'm in shock. I'm in shock, and I've wet my wetsuit, Genuinely,
and I'm wetting my wetsuit.
Low-key could not care how many fish I had, and was like, Lisa's won by heaps, and she's standing there looking at me going, how big's your blue moki?
Yeah, can you show me your fish, Laura?
How big are your butterfish? And I'm like, bro, I've got 3 fish. I just about died out there. Why are we talking about the fish?
she's got her float boat all covered up.
No, it's not that I didn't care. I just thought you wasted me. So,
Laura, can I just have a quick look at your fish? What have you got in there?
I just couldn't understand. I couldn't understand why my best mate did not see that I was in shock and just lining up.
I saw that.
Lining up while people are going,
I did give her a hug.
Was it you that saw the shark? And I'm going, yeah. And they're all going, how big was it? And I'm going, I don't know.
Elisa's like, she's got 3 fish. Oh, fuck.
But to be fair, from the outsider point of view, you had way more fish than me and Alicia. So to me, it just seemed blatantly that you had 1. So it was good to know that you sweated for a little bit,
I sweated hard. I was sweating all morning, all night. Anyway, 1 by 700 grams. Like,
Still a win. I did make the joke. To someone later on in the day. It might have been one of the boys from the house, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's just my tactic. I'd shot all the fish I could shoot, and I didn't want Elise to beat me, so I called shark." But it was a bad joke to make. But like, you did
because we realised that other
amazingly.
people actually could do that, and that was one of the things mentioned in the meeting afterwards. Is like,
Hey, you're skipping the bit. You won. Oh,
yeah,
you said you've won.
I did.
But
That was
you
so
need
cool.
to be more stoked about that.
I'm
you
very
have been
excited about it.
working
I'm very
towards that, and that
excited
has
about
been your goal.
Yeah, but it's just so weird.
And the look on your
competing against your
face.
best friend.
I know it is weird, but the look on your face when they actually announced that you had won,
Yeah.
like that's what you have. The whole time
I'm
I've known
stoked.
you, that's what your goal has been, is
Yeah.
to win the New Zealand Women's Spearfishing Nationals, and you fucking did it, mate. You did it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm blushing.
Even if it was only an hour and a half in the water.
Yeah, but that's
Sorry
okay.
about it.
Another half an hour, and she would have got that extra 700 grams. Thank you for listening to part 1 of 2 of the Stewart Island Nationals. Next time, we talk about the Opens and interview our fellow competitors. If you enjoy our episodes and want to let us know, flick us a DM on Instagram or contact us at spearodiaries@gmail.com. Until then, toodles!